Namaste. Welcome to this video, which will end all further becoming, put an end to suffering. End to rebirth. Suppose that an archer or archer's apprentice were to practice on a straw man or a mound of clay, so that after a while he would become able to shoot long distances, to fire accurate shots in rapid succession, and to pierce great masses. In the same way, there is the case where a monk enters and remains in the first jhana, rapture and pleasure born of seclusion, accompanied by direct thought and evaluation. He regards whatever phenomena there that are connected with form, feeling, perception, fabrications, and consciousness as inconstant, stressful, a disease, a cancer, an arrow, painful, an affliction, alien, a disintegration and emptiness, not self. He turns his mind away from those phenomena, and having done so, inclines his mind to the property of deathlessness. This is peace, this is exquisite, the resolution of all fabrications, the relinquishment of all acquisitions, the end of craving, dispassion, cessation, unbinding. Similarly, with second, third, and fourth jhana, meditational states, craving and passion is the cause of consciousness that gives rise to all else. In craving, in suffering. In line with the Buddha's approach of seeing how these processes manifest on many levels, he advises that you view even the being doing jhana as a process composed of aggregates. Even the being doing going into these meditative states is just another process composed of aggregates, perception, form, feeling, etc., consciousness. When this contemplation yields a sense of dispassion for all aggregates, past, present, future, pleasant, painful, neutral, neither pleasant nor painful, arises, even all those used in the past, it starves the process by which craving can lead to further rebirth. You start to see that even a craving for happiness and pleasure causes misery. When there is no passion for the nutriment of physical food, where there is no delight, no craving, then consciousness does not land there or increase. Where consciousness does not land or increase, there is no alighting of name and form. Where there is no alighting of name and form, there is no growth of fabrications. Where there is no growth of fabrications, there is no production of renewed becoming in the future. When there is no production of renewed becoming in the future, there is no future birth, aging, and death. That, I tell you, has no sorrow, affliction, or despair. And before we continue with the sutras, the unfabricated place, dimension, as is mentioned in the sutras, is not a place, it's a outgoing of the candle. It's the exhale. There's no consciousness there. But, just as, even though the ego is not, there is still a sense of being. But Buddhists, with the Heart Sutra and stuff, don't like to put a name to it. It's beyond concept. Gate pada samgate bodhiswaha, a luminous light. If a monk abandons passion, which in Hinduism is Brahman, the one where we all are inside, the Atman, Para-Atman, that we will all merge to eventually. Right now we're in separation. In this dance. If a monk abandons passion for the property of form, the property of feeling, the property of perception, the property of fabrications, the property of consciousness, then owing to the abandonment of passion, the support is cut off, and there is no landing of consciousness. Consciousness, thus, not having landed, not increasing, not concoding, is released. Owning to its release, it is steady. Owning to its steadiness, it is contented. Owning to its contentment, it is not agitated. Not agitated, one is totally unbound right within. One discerns that birth is ended, the holy life fulfilled, the task done. There is no further for the sake of this world. SN 22.54. What remains is a dimension free of birth and death. There is, monks, an unborn, unbecome, unmade, unfabricated. If there were not that unborn, unbecome, unmade, unfabricated, there would not be the case that emancipation from the born, become, made, fabricated would be discerned. But precisely, so it's practically saying, it is only from the formless that form is perceived. or form is witnessed beyond perception. So that proves that there is, beyond ego, beyond form, you are formless, soul beyond all this. Or whatever you want to name it. But don't name it. This dimension is characterized by a type of consciousness that lies outside the range of the sensory consciousness involved in dependent co-arising in the realm of the six senses, a realm the Buddha calls the all, thus it's totally free from suffering. Consciousness without surface, endless, radiant all around, has not been experienced through the earthness of earth, the liquidity of liquid, the fiery of fire, the windiness of wind, the alertness of all. Allness of all. When there is no passion for the nutriment of physical food, contact, intellectual intention or knowledge, consciousness, where there is no delight, no craving, then consciousness does not land there or grow. Where consciousness does not land or grow, name and form does not alight. Where name and form does not alight, there is no growth of fabrications. Where there is no growth of fabrications, there is no production of renewed becoming in the future. Where there is no production of renewed becoming in the future, there is no future birth, aging, and death. That, I tell you, has no sorrow, affliction, or despair. With release, this is the knowledge, released. One discerns that birth is ended, the holy life fulfilled, the task done. There is nothing further for the sake of this world. Dwelling alone, secluded, heedful, ardent, and resolute, venerable Anuruddha, in no long time reached and remained in the supreme goal of the holy life for which clansmen rightly go forth from home into homelessness, knowing and realizing it for himself in the here and now. He knew birth is ended, the holy life fulfilled, the task done. There is no further for the sake of this world, and thus venerable Anuruddha became another one of the Arahants. In other words, when the mind returns to the fabricated dimension after its total encounter with the unfabricated dimension and has realized its release, the realization that it's through with birth, rebirth on both the macro and micro levels is the first thing that spontaneously occurs to it. This realization of the ending of birth leads to the further realization that all suffering has been ended as well. Hope you enjoyed this video. So meditate on it, keep returning to the rising and falling of the breath. In reference in regards to the six senses, the five aggregates, feeling, perception, consciousness, contact perception, form, consciousness, etc. Likes, dislikes, pleasure, pain, neutrality, desires, boredom, all of it. And be free. Thought, breath, everything.
Everything.
Life, death,
Your body.
desire for coming, becoming, and no becoming. You can't even have a desire for non-becoming. Completely beyond. May all beings, and you watching, be free from suffering, body and mind, and stress, and attain this lasting happiness. Free from the cycle of birth